Why aren't you listening to me? Doesn't anybody ever listen to me? Listen to me? Listen to me? Listen to me? Blame yourselves for this fucking word salad that I just spit all over the goddamn plate. This is all your fault. You and I like me. That's it. I work under the cover of darkness because I don't need the rest of society to look in my eyes and know that is a bad person. Hey, what's happening? Mike Schmidt, 40-Year-Old Boy Podcast. You hear Lily laughing. There's a reason she's laughing. We just set a record for the fastest restart of the show in history, the fastest take, because I'll talk and I'll say stuff and I'll go, we got to let's jump back. I don't know if I can say that about the Germans or whoever I say something about, and then we take it back because I have to walk it back, folks, because I am not out to humiliate the Germans or anger them in any way, because they're a sleeping giant. Let's be honest, the sleeping German giant. That's what they are. They're just waiting. We know their track record, we know their history, and how itchy is their trigger finger right now for Greece? Oh my God, the Germans are like, because Greece is Greece is on its back prone. Actually, I apologize. Greece is on its hands and knees prone. I mean, it is Greece after all. So Greece is just waiting to be entered, and Germany is just sitting there trying desperately not to do it, but at the same time just going, we could, right? We could just take them. Let's just take them. It's a nice place. We could go vacation there if we own them. Not that they can't anyway, but if they own them, it's totally different. And then it's just, unfortunately, pretty soon you're a slippery slope. God damn it! I'm sorry, folks. I want to say that I haven't slept, but that's a lie. It's even worse. I've slept 2 hours, which is even worse than not sleeping. Because if I hadn't slept, I'd be like giddy and I'd be up and I'd be like ready to fucking rampage, probably. Well, that's doubtful. But even worse is I just threw a wet blanket on the whole enterprise where I fucking fell asleep and started to enter REM sleep and then got woken up to come here to the point where I'm using the word woken. Awful. So, I don't know. What was I talking about? I forget what I was saying. I don't know what I was saying. Oh, so to restart the show, man, I was sitting here and Lily, she gave me the point and she touched my nose. And then I went, hey, what's happening? Like a crazy hey. And I even said, hey, what's happening? Oh my God, that's a weird hey. We got to walk that hey back. And she stopped the show. And I go, wait, did you stop the show? I was going to make fun of myself for making fun of that, for having a crazy hey. And she's like, no. I'm sorry. I didn't hear show Mike in there. And I go, guess what? You're not going to hear fucking show Mike the whole day. Show Mike is at home sleeping and dreaming about Germany taking over Greece, and then he's bringing that knowledge here to you folks, because again, it's a slippery slope, ladies and gentlemen. Because eventually Germany's going to bail out Greece, and then all of a sudden Greece, for some reason, has a national uniform. How did that happen? Germany can do that, right? They could just swoop in. They pay all their debts, and then Greece is like, "Thanks, dudes," and they're like, "Hold on a second, you have to wear these." What? It's like if you're like you got some kept woman, and you're like, "Wear that dress," and she's like, "No," and then you give her a backhand in the face. Wear that dress. Because apparently, Greece and Germany have a relationship out of a 1940s detective movie. Sam Spade shows up and Greece has a black guy. He's like, Greece, what happened to you? And they're like, oh, nothing. I walked in a door. And Germany's just standing there like, twisting its ring on its finger. I don't know if Germany laughs like that. I don't know how Germany would laugh. Actually, you know what? I do. Germany would not laugh. That's exactly. They're a humorless people who are just licking their chops and waiting to get their hands on Greece. Oh, my Christ. Then they're just going to line up the rest of the fucking, all these countries, because all these countries are defaulting, and Germany's the one with all the dough. They're going to stomp in and just pay everybody, and then eventually Europe's going to be like a big human centipede, and Germany's going to be the front. It's going to be awful. All right. That's in my head, because Lily and I were talking about that movie, too. I've been here 10 minutes, and we're like, I heard about the awfuls of burlesque, the terribleness of burlesque, the horrible dramas of burlesque that are occurring, and, there was. Would you like? Shall I go into them? Should I talk about them? Oh, okay. Maybe I won't. All right. Business is the same thing as burlesque.
No, it's just clubs.
It's just clubs. Clubs, folks. 3 clubs. By the way, I don't know if you're aware that's where the burlesque show is held every Monday night. I'll tell you about it later. Yeah, I should. I don't want to get into it now. Although I should actually. I should just get into it now because then it gets me. You know what? If I start talking about that, the show's over. So I know. That way I know the show's over. If I start telling you about the 3 clubs and I start talking, then I say, oh my gosh, the show's over. Unbelievable. Maybe Germany will annex the show because it's in such bad shape this week. This is because I try to keep the show strong. That's the thing is I try to come forward and be as strong as I possibly can because I have to, I have to put up that front so Germany doesn't swoop in and take over the show. I have to flex my muscle at the border. But unfortunately, I think they see an opportunity here where Germany's going to sweep in and take over this fucking show. Jesus Christ. All right. Which would be bad because I don't look good in a uniform. Although I love a man in a uniform. That's a great song. All right. So, hi. I slept 2 hours. It's awful. I was supposed to, because here was the plan, man. I had to go home because I'm on a plane tomorrow morning. It's Tuesday. It's Tuesday daytime. It's like Tuesday. It's noon now, or it might be 1 now. I was supposed to be here at 11. Well, all right. Here was my original plan. Here was the original plan. I was never going to do a podcast. All right. That was the original plan. But then things changed and defaulted. I defaulted like Grease in show business. I'm the Grease of show business. I defaulted and I had to scurry back to a fallback position, which is this. And let's be honest, first of all, I'm great at this fallback position. We can't deny that, right? I'm really good at this hiding behind and failing. I'm really good at that. I'm terrific at failing and trying to scramble out of a hole. But it's when I get out of the hole, that's the problem. All right, so, how was I saying?
You were supposed to be here originally.
Dude. So I do the shows on Wednesdays usually. But then Lily and I have been talking because I've been traveling a lot. So then she's been very nice to accommodate me that I have to do Tuesday records. But then this particular week, she told me last week, she's like, oh my God, you know what? I forgot completely that we're doing Tuesday. I have a thing that's very important on Tuesday night. Can we go ahead and record earlier on Tuesday? I said, look, that's not a problem. What time? She goes, how about 2? Because normally I come over here at 4. I said, 2 o'clock, easy. I can swing that easy. No problem. Thank you. You accommodate me. I can accommodate you. And then I left here and promptly forgot about every fucking thing that she ever asked me. Because I don't have a mental database of things that Lily has asked me. I mean, I just, because she doesn't make a lot of requests. So I just go, okay. And everything's fine. And I figure it's not going to be a problem until, I'm running into all these obstacles of getting things done. Trying to get T-shirts done and sending out Kickstarter. By the way, if you're a Kickstarter donator, folks, if you were a person who donated $20 to the cause or $30 to the cause, watch your mailboxes.
Whoa!
All of those rewards have been filled. All of those rewards have been filled, ladies and gentlemen. Go right now to your mailbox. I'll wait. So I had to pull the CDs for everybody, and it's funny. I was telling people about that, and they're just like, "Well, you just give them what you wanted." I'm like, "No, I literally took all of my CDs. Here's what I did. My house is a fucking mess right now because I took all of my CDs and I put them in baskets. Like I have 2 laundry baskets, and then a big box, and then another like a wicker basket full of my CDs. I just didn't There's no alphabetical order, no anything. I just started putting CDs in there with my eyes closed so I wouldn't know what was what. And then this is not a joke, I went down the list one by one, and whenever someone like Mary Hasty, let's say a Mary Hasty came up, I would go over, I'd pick out a basket, and I'd reach in, and I'd just fucking bozo drum it and pull out a CD. Ding! Whatever you got, you got. So, as I was pulling out the CDs, I was really hoping that I'd find some like ridiculous CDs to give to people, but I kept pulling out good CDs that I like. And I mean, I don't mind giving them away because that was the whole point of it. And I have the music in digital form anyway. Everything's been ripped. That's fine. I can tell you who's not very happy about this. Someone else who lives in my apartment. Because she's like, hey, I actually own some of these CDs. Like they were mine. Like I brought to the relationship. And which made me really, really weird. I'm not gonna lie to you. That just like, because it's almost 20 years now we've been together, and you remember which CDs you brought to the relationship. That'll tell you just how tenuous things have been, are, and will be in my apartment, folks. After 19 years being together, and that's legit because it was 19 a couple weeks ago. Because we celebrate the day we met and we celebrate the actual wedding day itself. So it was 19 years ago that we met, and she still knows the CDs that she brought to the relationship. I picture she just has some dog-eared, yellowing fucking piece of notebook paper that's falling apart. And anytime I go to grab something, she goes, up. She opens it up, unfolds it like a treasure map, and looks for Sting Fields of Gold somewhere on that treasure map. It's going to say Sting because that was one of the ones I yanked. That was Sting Fields of Gold. Oh, I don't want to give that one up. What do you mean you don't want to give? You have, and again, we're just two really, really different people because who are exactly the same. All right, I should tell you that. But I to me, everything is garbage. Does that make any sense to anyone? Everything in my house is garbage. Like it can be thrown away at all times. I've always had that mentality of I got to get the fuck out of here fast. Whereas she has this incredible long detailed list of all of the CDs that she brought to the relationship. I have like literally there's a glass pane in my house with a key behind it. Smash it, grab it, and run. And never the fucking twain shall meet. Keep the CDs, keep that. I'm all I want from this relationship is out that door. That's all I want. Everything I could ever hope to bring away from this in the end is right outside that door. I don't need to worry about what goes where or this bed or this, I'm not fucking Myrna in Sesame Street. Myrna's oven, my couch, Myrna's couch, my dog, Myrna's dog. Fuck all that. Mike's escape. That's all you've got to worry about. If it ever comes to that, folks, if it ever comes to that, I'm not saying that there's all the time in play, but if it ever were to come to that, I wouldn't need to sit down. I would be the easiest negotiation in the history of divorces or talks with lawyers or whatever the fuck. They go, all right, well, let's do this 50-50. And I go, no, let's go 99.999 to 0.001. And I'll take that 001 and my car. And that's it. That's all I need. She can even keep my fucking clothes if she wants them. I don't need them. I can start over, right? That's all that all this means is I can start over. Yay! The only thing I'd be taking out of that relationship would be the light I saw at the end of the tunnel. Honestly. So, and again, it's not come to that. I should stress that, but I'm just saying I've always been that guy forever. Anytime I've been in any relationship or anywhere I've lived, it's just been I've got to stay light and lean so I can get the fuck out anytime I have to. I have to walk around on tenterhooks. I have to be on you ever see when Lon Chaney Jr. turns into the werewolf and sure he's all fat and flat-footed, but then all of a sudden sure enough when he's the werewolf he's up on his toes and he's walking through the fog. That's me, baby. That's it. I'm ready. If the shit hits the fan, I go right up on my toes and just sneak around and out, right into the fog and out through the moors. Then I bite a traveler. All right, so. I sat down to do the CDs for Kickstarter, and that's we started pulling, and I started hearing all about who brought what to the relationship and why I can't give that away and how it's got sentimental value. And I go, all of this music is in the magic box that sits on this desk. You're aware of that, right? I mean, it's all digital right there. I will. Anything we pick, I'll definitely make sure it's in the iTunes, and then we'll just. And if it's not, we'll rip it and then we'll send it. It's fine. Well, but I really like that, to have a CD and be able to look at the lyrics and stuff like that. The lyrics. Let me tell you something, because she helped. All right, she helped me box everything up to send it off to Kickstarter people. Her main function was we alternated picking out of the box, because it was fun. It was very fun to do that. And also her main function was she had to dust all of the CDs before we put them in envelopes for people. Because there was this thick layer of silt as if they had been stored at the bottom of a lake. Because all of my music is being played via the magic box on my desktop or the magic box that travels in my leather case or the even smaller postage stamp sized metal box that climbs into my fucking bag and goes with me on a plane. That's it. That's when I get on a plane, I have my old iPod, I have my phone, and my shuffle all ready, and just in case one fails, I have a backup. Because again, I don't want to hear anybody talk or fucking scream or yell or talk about juice. I don't want to talk to anybody in a fucking plane ever about anything. I don't. You want to fucking yap at me? I'm gonna dive into my hood and disappear, and you're never gonna see me again. And if somehow the shuffle dies, I literally have a hoodie with a pouch like a kangaroo, as I've told you, and I will just pull out an iPod. Yoink. Yoink. I'm like the fucking Mandrake, the magician of music on the goddamn plane. If it runs out, who cares? Boom. There's another one. And then if I have to plug into that seat thing, I'll listen to that too. I don't give a shit. There's constant music in my ears on the plane. All right. What was I talking about? So man, so these Kickstarter people look at your mailbox. So then, because the first one I pulled, but I have to tell you, I understand her pain. I really do. But I was prepared to go through with it. She was not. Because I went ahead and this is the first one I picked. Our friend David Cook, from Wichita, Kansas, who hosts the Jaeger Bombcast. Go ahead and check it out. It's on iTunes now. I think they just had an anniversary show, or somebody had a birthday show, or something like that. I forget who it was. It's our friend David Cook and his partner Ladybucks. They are in Wichita, Kansas, hosting the Jaeger Bombcast, ladies and gentlemen. And so I reached into the basket and I fumbled around looking, and I pulled out a pristine copy of Ted Nugent's Double Live Gonzo. And I have to admit, I went weak in the knees a little bit. I went a little. I just kind of was like, "What?" It was so, because it was the first salvo. I mean, it wasn't even like we worked up to Ted Nugent Double Live Gonzo. It was the first one I dragged out, because that's an album that means a lot to me. It means a lot to me from when I was a kid. It's a huge album. I'm a huge fan, and I've talked about it on here. The Great White Finch, okay, that came right out of Great White Buffalo, which is on Double Live Gonzo. And I saw it, and I actually went, ooh, like it hurt. It hurt to put that in an envelope. It really did. But I was prepared for it, and I wanted to do it. And it was because of the kindness of a David Cook, who went ahead and sent money, that I can go ahead and do shows in different cities, like our friends in Washington, D.C., who are going to see me this week. Because of people who gave to Kickstarter, that's why I was able to promise what I promised. But so, and again, I was ready to do it, but when you, because then another, like the second one I pulled was Def Leppard Rock of Ages, which is a double live greatest hits album. And and again, you don't care. That was another thing, as I'm boxing stuff up, I'm laughing because I'm going, people are going to throw these away. Like the second they get them, they're going to throw them away, because like me, all of their music is stored on a magic box on their desk. That was the humor in this whole thing. To me, that was the funny part was that I would be sending a random CD, but I also thought I'd be pulling crazy CDs, but I started pulling like real CDs, like virtually everything that I pulled. Like one dude, I forget who it is, he got the complete Tom Jones. So like he's going to open it and just go, well, for us, yes. But if you're 19 and you get the complete Tom Jones, you're like, this is awful. You're going to skeet shoot it. You're going to fucking, literally, the only reason you would want to have the complete Tom Jones is a reason to yell pull. That's the only reason you would want the complete Tom Jones. So there was that. And who did I bag today? Like somebody, I don't want to give those away because I just mailed those. So these people are going to listen Thursday. I like for people to open up their package and go, whoa, look. That's exactly. That's what I want. I want someone to open their package and go, whoa, look, I have another thing to throw away. So I was doing the Kickstarter thing, and how the fuck? Where did I was going to say something else.
Originally about being here and accommodating me, and you were working on Kickstarter on the way.
I'm actually yawning. Hold on. This is awful. I wish I weren't, but I am. So I got up this morning to pull some more Kickstarter stuff and bag up, because the DC shirts came in, so I have to bag up the DC shirts and send them. And I need a new T-shirt company. That's all I'll say. I can't get into yeah, and it's because I have to be. You know what? Look, I have to be careful about what I say on this show. I found out. All right, not that I am. But here's something that happened to me over the past few days. Well, all right, should I spiral into this now? I don't even know.
Sure.
A couple of weeks ago, I was talking about a person at I work the Graveyardville job, and I talked about a person who would come in and he would talk to me all the time about his adventures. So basically, he had a podcast and it only had one listener, and it was me, because I would have to sit there as he droned on and on about whatever the heck he had to talk about. And I just said heck. I don't know why I said it. That's how fucking groggy I am, folks. I said heck. So he would come in and he would tell me things, and then I then projectile vomited regret all over the guy and explained to him, hey, look, in 15 years, if you're sitting behind a security desk like me, listening to a guy like you, then you'll know that you've really got problems. I don't know if I put it that way, really, but I tried to couch it in such terms where he understood, but at the same time, I tried to keep it light and frothy, because that's what I do. And now we're back to the Human Centipede. All right, so they're making a new one of that. They're making a third one, folks. I was just reading the article with the guy who's the creator of the Human Centipede, and he said that he's taking a new approach for the Human Centipede 3, because people were not happy with the meta storytelling of the Human Centipede 2. No, I think people weren't happy about the fact someone got like ass raped and fisted and then they had their mouth sewn to an anus and then another mouth sewn to another anus. And dude, seriously, quit acting like it was the nuance of the human centipede too. I don't care for the Meisner technique of these people with asses sewn to their mouths. No, that was not the case, friend. Unbelievable. So now he's like, I'm going to Americanize the Human Centipede 3. So he's going to have a 500 person Human Centipede. He said it's going to be like the bigger the better, like an American type version. And it's like that's awful to me. Like because it seems like a betrayal of what the whole thing was about. All right. I'm serious. 500 people, that's not even feasible. Because by the time you got to what if you got 10 people sewn together, isn't the second person dead soon? Like very soon? You can't keep 500 people alive in a human centipede. And it's not even, because again, I understand, because the whole point was they said it was medically feasible. That was his whole thing. It's like, this can really be done. We've got the medical stuff to prove it. 500 people in a human centipede can't be done. It can't be done. You're talking about a small town in South Dakota becoming an entire human centipede. Which, by the way, exists. I don't know if you're aware of that. It's where you got this idea. It's Human Centipede, South Dakota. It's Mouth to Anus, South Dakota. It's Shit Throat, South Dakota. Have you ever been? It's a fantastic place. So, yeah, unbelievably, you lose all of first of all, you lose the whole medical audience. All of the people who were watching it for all of the medical, because that's another thing. They kept pushing it like, this is medically feasible, as if medical people were going to watch it and try to debunk it or agree with it. Medical people are just like, what the fuck is wrong with you, dude? But instead, he thought these people were going to tune in and be like, hold on a second. Let me get my grad hat and pointer and take a schematic and an overhead projector. No, nobody's debunking the human centipede. But if you go with 500 people, fuck you. I debunk your 500-man human centipede. Doesn't happen. You barely get to 20 before somebody dies in the middle of that. Just the complex sewing of mouth to anus, that's got to take a long time, right? That's not like something that's quick. I don't know. I didn't see the second one because I didn't care for the meta storytelling. But as far as I know, sewing a mouth to an anus is not something that's done like that, folks. That takes a trick. That's a trick, all right? So mouth to anus, you got to figure, all right, let's figure this. Because you got to, first of all, capture the people. Capturing 500 people. What the fuck? How big a hole are you digging in your yard? Honestly, that's fucking crazy. How are you going to trap 500 people? Unless you had, all right, let's put it this way. Maybe if you had access to an old people's home. And because nobody gives a fuck about old people, right? Nobody cares. Seriously, if you find some old people's home in the middle of Shit Throat, South Dakota, and those people have just been dumped. Those people, nobody gives a flying fuck about any of those. If you're an old person in a old folks' home in South Dakota, terrible news. Nobody cares. I'm sure that's not a bulletin for you folks. As you sit there and gum your rice pudding, and I'm beamed. You know, I'm not even in earbuds there. They have no iPod vaginas because they don't work anymore. So they have one iPod vagina there, but it does not work. But they put me on in the day center. I'm in the day room. I'm playing constantly for the old people in Shit Throat, South Dakota, who come out to eat and gum their fucking rice pudding. And by the way, let's go on a side note here. I love rice pudding. God damn, I love it. I don't know if I want to talk about it so much in the context of this story, as old people are being sewn mouth to anus and having to eliminate their rice pudding. Because think about that. So if he got an old folks home in the middle of Shit Throat, South Dakota, and he had access to all of those people, because nobody's visiting those people, nothing is happening. The only thing happening there is like the clean linen delivery, and even that's not happening. That's sporadic at best. So you don't have to worry about them. So you're undisturbed in your mouth to anus activity. All right, you're undisturbed completely, and you're showing mouth to anus activity, and you've got this. I don't know what I want to call it, a wellspring, a never-ending supply of mouths and anuses. Let's just go with that instead of trying to think of a cute term for it. Let's just break it down. Let's just go bare bones, folks. It's a never-ending supply of mouths and anuses for you to sow to one another. 500 seems high. I still think 500 seems high. You gotta go outside of the old folks' home in Shit Throat, South Dakota, and find some other people to add in. I mean, think about this: 500 people. All right. That's twice the size of the NBA. Honestly, that's because in the NBA there's like 12 guys on a team, and there's 30 teams. Well, that's 360. So yeah. Basically, you're sewing the mouth to the anus of the entire NBA. It's just ludicrous. That's unbelievable. I'm sorry, I don't believe it. I don't believe this premise. You thought you lost me with the meta storytelling. You're going to truly lose me with the mega storytelling of the 500-man human centipede. 500, not even man. You got to go man, girl, right? Boy, girl, right on that? Boy, girl. You got to go boy, girl, boy, girl. Yes, you do. I'm serious. I'm saying it right now. It's not even an issue. You have to go boy, girl. You can't go boy, boy, girl. That's just look. My OCD is far too crazy for me to even be involved in the 500-person human centipede. Because my ADD wouldn't allow me to sew an anus to a mouth in any sort of airtight fashion. I mean, there'd be leaks and all sorts of bullshit. It'd be bad. You know what? I wouldn't even sew them. I'd go fucking Velcro. That's what I do. That's how bad my ADD is. I'm like, just Velcro those mouths to those anuses. We got mouths and anuses to Velcro together. Get moving, folks. I don't know who I'm yelling at. It's just me. I don't have a lab assistant. If I have a lab assistant, I need 500 bodies. He's going into the chain. I got news for you. Fuck that. I'm at a loss. I got nobody around me to grab. If I need bodies, fuck you, lab assistant, you're in. If I get to like 460, you're looking pretty good. It's like we're on an island and you turn into a pork chop. I just fucking grab you, fake pork chop, and I sew your mouth to an anus. That happens. Don't ever be a lab assistant to the human centipede guy, because you're going to wind up with a mouth on your anus. Or even worse, your mouth on an anus. Because again, there's merit to having a mouth on your anus. We can all agree with that. We've had it. Anyone who's had that experience realizes that there is something there that is not so unappealing. However, your mouth on an anus, well, I mean, also not. Let me go ahead and play devil's advocate for you. Also not unappealing. However, mouth sewn to anus, sewing is the problem. I can be honest. Needle and thread coming anywhere near my lips, done. I'm out. Which means I'm not volunteering. I mean, who's to say what's going to happen if they somehow catch me by surprise, if I fall into a hole in the guy's yard? We got 500 people. It makes no sense. No sense at all. A 500-person human centipede. You couldn't keep them alive that long. You could not. Not at all. There's not enough rice pudding and shit throat South Dakota to keep those people alive. By the time you got to I would say feasibly, folks. By the time you got to 17, you'd suffer breakage. All right. So, I don't know how I spun off into that. But yeah, again, I couldn't do it. My ADD, I wouldn't be able to sew, and my OCD I couldn't even get to 500. I'd get to like 3, maybe the first movie. That's where I get to. Maybe I finish the first movie and then I'm out. But even that, the cries of woe would be enough to do me in, I think, at that point. I don't want to hear people crying woe. All right. You gotta be really committed to do one human centipede, even with 3 people. All right, 500 people. You have to really be desensitized to the feelings of others. I mean, hold on a second. Well, let's be honest. I guess for the first human centipede, you really have to be desensitized to the but your curiosity for medical oddity would overcome any feelings of remorse you would have if you were just doing 3 people. But if you're doing 500 people, you know what? That's not even a quest for medical knowledge at that point. That's a fucking job. Do you want your job to be human centipede builder? That's fucking awful. You're not even a doctor at that point. You're just putting spackle on a brick wall and building it. You're going telltale heart. All you're doing, you're just a laborer. You're a manual laborer at that point. There's no skill in what you're doing, 500-person human centipede. That's ludicrous. 3, getting them in, because your whole goal should be, all right, let's put it this way. We could all sew together 500 people mouth to anus. All of us, everybody. We could, if we didn't care about the results. Your whole goal in human centipede should be for it to work and for them to live. From front to back and all the way through the middle, you should want them to be able to chain up and live and exist as a creature that you've created. A new hybrid, a new species, if you will. But if you're building 500, that's just Guinness Book of World Records shit at that point. You know what I mean? There's no art to that. There's no art to building a 500-person human centipede. You're the Kobayashi of fucking surgeons at that point. Just shoving hot dogs down your gullet to prove a fucking point. Put down the needle and thread, motherfucker. Stay with 3 and keep it alive for a couple weeks. Then you'll impress me. How's that grab you? 500 people in a human centipede does not impress me. I appreciate the logic and the thought of it. I certainly admire the scope. I'd be shocked at the model. If you built a 500 action figure model human centipede with Batman mouth to anus with fucking, Decepticons, then I'm impressed by that. But to actually step forward and try to do 500 people, that's just, you're not even, there's no nuance there at all. Now you're just building shit. That's awful. No one likes that. Buy a fucking puzzle. Because you're long past the medical discovery aspect of the human centipede if you're putting 500 people together. Now you're just a fucking Rubik's Cube solver. Holy shit. Have some respect for yourself. Look in the mirror, man.
You're listening to The 40-Year-Old Boy, and coming up, the Jerk-Off Journals. Don't listen too much, you'll go blind.
So I literally, dude, was right above the painting, like almost to the ceiling. That's where, I couldn't believe
That's
how
progress.
Far. Yeah, it was huge.
You should do what I do, man. I keep track of distance.
How do you do that?
Every time I shoot, I just draw a line where it landed, so I know.
What do you write the date next to it or something?
No, my girlfriend's pissed off enough I draw the lines on her. Two cool jerks. The Jerk-Off Journals on the Mike Schmidt Podcasting Network.
You don't have a girlfriend.
Hi. Lily told me, because all right, here's what I did, folks, a second ago. I did a Chewbacca in her kitchen. I did a Chewbacca impression. By the way, I should tell you, 4 hours have passed since this break. We took a break, and then we started talking, and then 4 hours flashed into night. It's now nighttime. I'm actually in Washington, D.C. as I record this. We had to Skype me in for the end of it. And yes, I know how to Skype. I ask people all the time, I go, hey, maybe I'll, as a joke, I'm like, hey, maybe I'll Skype you in. And they're like, I thought you didn't know how to Skype. I don't need to know how to Skype to make a joke about Skyping. Jerk. How dare you try to bring logic into what I'm doing? I just talked about mouth to anus for 40 minutes. All right, so, God, I wish it were 40 minutes. Oh, my God, that would give me a jump on the second half of this show. Second half? All right. So we were here talking for the past 4 hours, and then it ended somehow with us doing Star Wars noises. Lily and I were having dueling. We were doing dueling Chewbaccas.
No, you. I don't do. No.
Well, she has to be in the right mood to do her Star Wars noises. She has to be motivated properly. She has to have. She has to be getting greased by Germany, if you know what I'm saying. Then she'll bust out a Chewbacca noise, from what I've heard. I don't know. I wouldn't know. I don't Chewbacca. We need that as a shirt. That's a shirt, right? That has to be a shirt. I don't Chewbacca. But I was doing Chewbacca, and then I said, that's Chewbacca. And she goes, no, it isn't. I said, yes, it is. That sounds just like Chewbacca. She goes, no, it doesn't. She goes, what about R2-D2? Can you do that? So I half-assed an R2-D2 that I don't claim to do R2-D2. I claim to do Chewbacca. But I half-assed the R2-D2, and she goes, oh, yeah, that was real good. And I'm like, your sarcasm is invalidated because I didn't think it was good anyway. It's not like I came to the table and went, watch this amazing R2-D2 that I'm going to do. It's so great. No, you were the one who asked me to do R2-D2. So to accommodate you, to make you happy, to get you to finally stop juggling your breasts and pay attention to me for a second, I said, all right, well, I'll go ahead and do that. And then I busted out an R2-D2 for you, and you went, oh, yeah, that was great.
Yeah,
I'm like, what? You can't mock me.
Your R2-D2 was good.
My Chewbacca dominated. And then she goes, you know what you should do? You should just do random Star Wars people for like a minute when you come back. And then I went, oh dear. And then I did a C-3PO robot, and she laughed and said, you have to do that. And then I did the most perfect Lando Calrissian you'll ever hear in your life. I just nailed it. I mean, it was spot on. It was just a Billy D. Williams that no one has ever done before. And Lily was taken aback. She was like, and she started fanning her face and her vagina at the same time because Billy D. has that effect on ladies, right? At the 3 of clubs, there's a picture of Billy D. Williams, a velvet painting of Billy D. Williams on the wall. And it just sets the mood for sex. Right away when you walk in the room, you're like, oh my God, there's boobs and a picture of Billy D. Williams on the wall. Is there a hole somewhere for me to stick my cock? Because it has to be done, because right now I am refreshed and moist, ready for sexual actions. And just now when I did a Lando Calrissian, she was like, whoa, and she leaned back and double fan, had to double fan it. Because of the heat radiating from both of those places, because she blushed because of the fact that her vagina had radiated so much heat. Because of Calrissian. Calrissian does it, folks. You know that. Everyone knows that. All right. So... she's like, you got to do those noises, man. Just do those. This is great, except for Chewbacca. And I'm like, Chewbacca was awesome. And then 3 hours later, Oh, and and also she said we were halfway through the show, and she usually takes notes. And she writes down what the name. Because I'm saying it now because she's just doing it. She writes down what she thinks the title of the show should be. She'll like have a series of them at the end of the night. So we've done the first half of the show, and as we talked for the last 4 hours, finally she goes, by the way, and she holds up the pad of paper. It's completely blank. She's like, there's no name for the show at all. And it made me sad. I was like, so it's not funny? She goes, no, it's funny. She goes, it's just not, there's nothing you can grab onto for funny. And I'm like, oh, all right. And I'm like, okay, I guess that's fine. Although now I'm guessing I Don't Chewbacca is the name of the show, right? It has to be, don't you think? Is that what you just wrote? She actually did. She actually wrote down I Don't Chewbacca. So that may be the name of the show, folks. Depending on if I'm able to come up with something funny to grab onto in the second half. Because I don't know if you've heard, I don't have anything to grab onto that's funny. Perhaps I should Skype one of you in for some funny. Yes, I can make a joke about Skyping. I don't need to know about Skyping to make a joke about Skyping. I'm shaking a fist at you. You know who you are. All right, so, hi. So, as we've sat here and we've talked and discussed all sorts of things, and I made her watch things on YouTube that she's not seen and does not understand. That was awesome. Come on, it was awesome. You know it was awesome. Folks, you've seen Brad Neely's Washington cartoon, right? You've seen it, haven't you? I've probably talked about it on here. 6'20" weighs a fucking ton? Come on. 6'20" killing for fun. Washington. He's coming. He's coming. God damn it, it's awesome. It's awesome. And it was funny at the end. It falls apart a little at the end. There's no doubt it falls apart a little at the end when he does that grasping for straws thing, which is funny, except for the fact that he held the woman's hand in acid in a jar of acid at a party. That's my favorite part. And then they back up and there's the happy birthday, because that's what Washington did. He doesn't fuck around. He'll save children, but not the British children. You guys know that, right? Oh, God damn it, I love it. All right, so I just made Lily watch it. And she's just like, what the? I don't. And then she shit on Chewbacca. You did. Yes, you did. And it's tough because it's getting that. Try to get that out of your fur. Try getting that, seriously. Stripper shit out of your fur. It's not the first time Chewbacca's had to do it either. He's a randy one, that Chewbacca. He's like half a gorilla and half a dude, and then part dog too, isn't he? I don't know what he is. I don't know. But he's covered in fur, and he's been in a strip club, and it has not gone well for him. Sometimes it does. Actually, you know what? Bullshit, it's gone extremely well for him because that's what he's into. Chewbacca's a scat guy. That's right. He is. Chewbacca's into scat. We all know that, right? All right. That's why he's been exiled by the other Wookiees. He hangs out with humans because humans are the only other known species to have that fetish. Wookiees and humans are the only ones who have a scat fetish, ever. Well, not all Wookiees, just Chewbacca. He's the only one. That's why the Wookiees kicked him out of Wookieeville. Or off of fucking Wookiee anus. I don't know. I think of a planet where the Wookiees live. Sadly, I can do the most perfect Lando Calrissian impression you've ever heard in your lives, and yet I don't know where the Wookiees live. I have no idea. Wookiees? The Wookie? Wookie. The Wookie. That's right. And now jam on it, folks. Jam on it. Jam on it. All right. Superman has come to town to see who he... All right, never mind. Who cares? I can't do that. What if I did the whole nuclear song? What if I did it as Chewbacca? All right, goddamn. What if I did it as Lando Calrissian? What if I did that? That'd be perfect. All right, because it is perfect. Oh, my God, my Lando is spot on. It's as smooth as the velvet painting at the 3 Clubs. Oof. As smooth as the taste of a Colt 45. That's what it was. I couldn't think of the name of the malt liquor that he was sponsoring. I was going to say a 40 Deuce, but that's not a malt liquor. That's another strip show. All right, so... hi, folks. How are you? I had a point. I swear to God, I had a point before I got curtailed off in the 500-person human centipede puzzle. I didn't sleep today, or I did. I shouldn't have slept. God damn it! See, if I would have come in here with fresh, then you wouldn't have had to deal with that. I wouldn't be doing Chewbacca. We wouldn't be hearing about Washington. None of this would have been happening. I'd have been fresh, and I would have had topics for you. But now, instead, 2 hours has clouded my brain, man. That's right. I say that like a hippie. Yeah, I don't. I swear to. Hold on, I had a flash. I was telling somebody something, right? Wasn't I saying something about something? I thought there was a point. I had a point about something. God damn it.
The CDs.
Kickstarter people, we're getting their things, and yes, watch your mails. Your mails. God damn it! I'm just gonna find a bridge and jump off of it. I can't. Year 4, going out with a whimper, with a real whimper. Unfortunately, good Lord, year 4 is in trouble. It's making me doubt year 5. Quite frankly, I must say that this performance is making me doubt year 5. Not this performance, because I'm fucking hysterical. This is hysterical. I'm fully behind this show. I think it's great and funny. Don't think I'm not Lily shitting on the Chewbacca of this show. That's not happening. I'm fully in support, but at the same time, I don't feel like I'm bringing it. You know what I mean? It's like I not on autopilot. What's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. I'm just I'm adrift. I'm rudderless. That's it. This show is rudderless. That's what I'm thinking. But again, this show's always rudderless. That makes it sound like I always come in here thinking I'm going to talk about Lester Hayes and a garden sprinkler. No, that shit just happens. I've never seen the Human Centipede movies. I only know of them because of clips I've seen and what I've read on Wikipedia. And yet, I did a 35-minute dissertation on what they should and shouldn't be. Just because the concept alone, 500, it's wrong. It's wrong. Quit overreaching. Now I spiral off into that again. Stop. This show's the Human Centipede. I just continuously shit that concept into my own mouth. I've sewed my own mouth to my own anus. And that's because I just keep regurgitating the same things. Boom, boom, boom. All right, so. You know what's funny is I just wrote something. Never mind, I can't get into that. All right, so. No, it's pointless. People will hear it eventually. So I was assembling all the Kickstarter packages and sending them off and mailing them. I sent off so $20 and $30, and some of the $50 people have gone out too as well. The screensavers are not out yet. I should tell you that because the screensavers are in play. They're in progress. I have to look at the rough drafts and figure out what is the best one. We have a couple of choices, and by we I mean me. Folks, you have no choice. You'll be getting a screensaver and you'll be liking it. And then eventually we'll be getting to the other artwork and stuff. As you know, there's a print. Some of you have a print coming. Some of you have an actual caricature, like a new piece of artwork for you. Some of you have a phone call coming, so please watch your phones. I had to call my friend Frances. I had to call her to figure out what's going on in Washington and stuff like that. And Frances, all right, look, I'm not going to belabor the point, but it makes because people are surprised to hear from me, which I get. I mean, because it's like, you know, I should tell you this, because I was supposed to have dinner with a listener over the weekend. I was supposed to see a guy, and unfortunately, it did not happen because my wife got food poisoning, and I had something, but certainly not nearly as much as she had. But look, we don't eat leftovers. We usually don't eat leftovers. They're usually just like, I don't understand leftovers because my wife will bring home leftovers from a restaurant and then she will leave them in the clamshell, like that fucking, styrofoam bullshit and the bag. Like she'll put the whole bag in the fridge. Like, dude, my wife's a bachelor. Like she's totally a dude. If I wasn't around, I'm fully convinced that like the fridge would just be full of like, it would have one beer and like a lime and like a pagoda, like always a Chinese pagoda filled with food of some sort, because it's just she just jams shit right in the fridge. Doesn't even think because we came over from El Torito and there was like and first of all, they pissed me off because they wrapped like a burrito in rice because I didn't eat any of it. Like I was full from what did we have before that? There was a salad. We split a salad, and so I brought home this burrito and they said, hey, you want us to wrap that for you? We said, yeah. Well, wrap is a relative term to a lot of restaurants. I mean, if you mean jam it into a fucking piece of styrofoam and hand it to me, well, then I'm still not happy about that, but I get it. But El Torito does something they think is fancier, but it's bullshit. It's because we were at El Torito Grill, by the way, which is the fancy version of El Torito. There's El Torito, which is for all you fucking idiots who like beans. But then there's El Torito Grill for people who like beans. They make a fancy white bean, and then they have like a cilantro rice. Fuck white rice, and now that Spanish rice bullshit. These guys have a cilantro green rice, and they don't have carnitas. They have Yucatan pork. So all of you mouth breathers can go to El Torito and save the El Torito Grill for the truly advanced and esoteric among you. All right, so the true sophisticates will go to the El Torito Grill. They don't bother with all this bullshit of enchiladas. I laugh to the point where I choke at your enchiladas. Oh, actually, I think I retched. I retched at your enchiladas. That wasn't even a laugh choke. That was a retch. Really? That was worth that? That was awful. That sounded like a game show that I lost on. That was awful. If that was my entry, if I retch at your enchiladas was my entry in the game show, I just lost. I was eliminated. It was the wrong answer, according to the producer of this show and the host. She'll be back in 2 and 2. All right, so I go to El Torito Grill because, again, I have that kind of cash. And they wrap up my burrito, my Yucatan pork burrito, and my cilantro rice. They don't wrap it. They everybody else I told you has that styrofoam clamshell with the intricate locking system in the front where that little thing goes into that slot. Well, they had like a plastic platter with a dome. They put a plastic but all they did, they just scraped it off of one plate onto their plastic plate and then put the dome, which didn't even really seal. It didn't clip. It didn't clasp. It just went over it. It hovered over it. It was like a hologram, almost like a hologram dome. It did nothing of the sort. It didn't help at all. And I looked at it and I was like, oh, well, I guess it's okay. Well, which is fine until you got to schlep it to the car, and then you schlep it out of the car, and it tips a little bit, and the cilantro rice starts to get askew. Nobody wants their cilantro rice askew. And by the way, only from the fanciest places will your rice go askew. If you went to just El Torito, your rice would slide, or you'd get crooked. Actually, your rice would be crooked. Fuck you and your crooked rice, El Torito. I want my rice askew, although I just said nobody wants the cilantro rice askew. But if it were to be something, I would much rather it was askew than crooked. So that's why I go to the fancy place. Because I ordered, I'll get like a nice pepita salad and a thesaurus. All right, so we walk in, and then my wife takes the whole fucking enterprise. Like, she doesn't, dude, and again, this just gets to me as I'm a child. We get that, right? I'm a child who wants to be taken care of. That's all I am. I'm a child who wants to be taken care of. Because can't you just nicely put the burrito and the cilantro rice onto a plate and wrap it in foil, or into a nice bowl, instead of jamming the entire fucking thing into the fridge like you just got home from a frat party? What the fuck? Because then the next day we go to pull it out, and it's like, the burrito's torn. Ah, that's awful. I mean, now I can see its innards. I don't want to see that until well, wait, but it's even worse. So then I went to work, and then Karen's like, you want your burrito? And I said, yeah, that'd be cool. She's like, why don't I bring it over? We'll have like a burrito picnic. And I said, that's fine. So she said she was going to Taco Bell too to get some food for herself. And I was like, well, all right, we'll get me let's get a grilled steak taco and we'll split that, because I haven't had Taco Bell in like 6 months. And it's so funny. I eat it and I go, Taco Bell is vile. It's just vomit. I don't even know why I eat it. And then 6 months later, I'll go, well, get me one thing. You know what I mean? And then I'll eat it and I'll go, why did I get that? But at least the steak taco I can fucking half-ass. But I knew I had the Yucatan pork burrito coming. So I go to work and I walk the perimeter and I check for zombies and I make sure everything's fine and secure and square. And then I get into the office and then I get a phone call. I'm here, and I let her in. And she comes in and she's carrying the El Torito bag. Like she has the actual bag from the fridge, and I'm like, all right, that's not good news. I mean, I guess I don't know what did I expect, a fucking chafing dish? I don't know what I expected. All right, I don't know if I needed a covered like one of those silver domes, and she's gonna pull it off, and when a smaller who will come with a smaller chafing dish and then pull off the lid, and another who will come up and then they'll present my burrito right at the very end. I don't know, a strawberry from Cindy Lou, and then a Yucatan pork burrito for me. That's fine, thank you, who's. That's what I expected. However, my wife pulls out the bag, and then she's like, she's got her Taco Bell's jammed into a bag, and she pulls out my burrito. It's on the plastic plate underneath the fucking hologram dome. And I go, did you cook this? She goes, yeah, I put it in the microwave. You put that toxic plastic plate and that bullshit hologram dome into the motherfucking microwave to cook that. And then I looked at it and it was just, I go, that's not hot. It's not going to be cooked. And she goes, well, no, it's fine. And I go, no, it's not fine. You don't have to eat it. I have to fucking eat it. It's soggy and it's going to be cold. She's like, well, no, and she cuts it open. Now she ruins it by cutting open the entire fucking burrito instead of just saying, no, I cooked it or it's fine. She cuts it open. She's like, see? And then of course I jam my finger right into the center of it. And it's like room temperature lukewarm, kind of. And even worse, dude, there was guacamole on the plate. She didn't scoop it off, and she just threw everything in the fucking microwave. She cooked the guacamole and the fucking burrito, everything just got nuked, like fucking completely nuked. And then lied to me. That's how, you hear that high-pitched voice? She lied, because I said, you didn't even take the guacamole out the plate. She goes, yes, I did. No, you did not. You didn't, because there would be a telltale smear of guacamole. We all learned that from Edgar Allan Poe, right? The telltale smear of guacamole. That's the second Edgar Allan Poe reference of the show today. That's nice. You know what I'm going to close this show with? A toast for you from the cask of Amontillado. There's your third Poe reference. Hat trick. That's a hat trick for Poe. All right, so did you see there's a movie, an Edgar Allan Poe movie coming out? And for some reason, John Cusack is playing Edgar Allan Poe as a superhero. I'm excited about that because dude, I will tell you this. I love that kind of shit. I think I talked about it on the show here. I think they should always team up like characters from like that League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. It's a genius idea for a book, and it was great in the book. The movie, of course, executed completely poorly, but the fact that they could team up like guys from throughout history, like if you were to say, "Hey, Sherlock Holmes, what if you and Batman went on an adventure?" I mean, I love that kind of shit. That's amazing to me. I think you should be able to do that all the time. Like when mythologies cross, I'm a huge fan of that. Like what if the Ghostbusters had to visit that house where Nicole Kidman and her kids were ghosts? You know what I mean? Remember that? Is that a spoiler alert? I think that might be a spoiler alert, folks. I'll tell you what, I won't give the name of the movie, so it's not really a spoiler alert. I didn't ruin anything. But if you're ever flipping channels and you watch a show where Nicole Kidman and her kids live in a haunted house, bad news. They're the ghosts. All right, so until the Ghostbusters show up and fucking clean house. Cross the streams on Nicole Kidman and she goes off into fucking space. Done. Is that where they go, space? Or no, they go into the proto-pack. Then they get put into the wall until fucking Peck shuts it down. Way to go, Peck. All right, so Peck's from the EPA. He shuts down the whole grid. Everything was fine. The Ghostbusters were fine until Dickless here shut down the grid. Peck. You will be saving the lives of millions of registered voters. Get this guy out of here. Awesome. Ghostbusters. All right, so. And now no Ghostbusters 3. Bill Murray turned it down. So Nicole Kidman is safe. I just thought of that. That made me laugh. All right. So Nicole Kidman can continue to haunt that house with her children. All right. So, anyway, how did I get into that? What was I talking about?
No idea.
Because, I know I got there. But I don't know why Edgar Allan Poe is a superhero. But at the same time, I think it's fucking genius. And I love the fact that John Cusack is doing it because I love John Cusack. And I will tell you this. I don't know if John Cusack's a good actor anymore. I have no idea. I can't put my finger on it because I love him. And I don't know if my judgment is clouded. Like, is he good? He is good, right? I remember that movie where he was in the hotel where there was remember that movie where it was like raining? You think it was horrible? I actually like that movie. Fatality or whatever the fuck. I forget the name of it. I don't know. No, he was in another hotel. You might be thinking of the other hotel movie.
Hotel Hell or whatever the fuck it was.
No, you're thinking of the Stephen King movie.
Yeah, it was horrible.
Yeah, Room 1621 or whatever the fuck it was.
Horrible.
I didn't think it was horrible.
It was horrible. Do not. It was horrible.
Drag Me to Hell was horrible.
Drag Me to Hell was awful.
But he's not in that. No. All right, so. But I actually liked it because, again, I liked it because John Cusack was in it, so I was fine with it. But the movie I'm thinking of is the one where he's at a motel. That's the difference.
Well, that one's
Cusack's got a body of work, and he's in a hotel or a motel.
He's always in a hotel or a motel.
Or a Holiday Inn. He's at a hotel, a motel, a Holiday Inn.
Oh, my God.
Did you ever see that other movie where he brought his friend? All right, so.
Oh, my God.
Hip. All right, never mind. So, that's Cusack's delight. All right. So, John Cusack, folks. I love him as an actor. I cannot get past it. Anything he does, I'm in. Even those movies where he's like, his wife died and he's got to cheer up a kid and all that other bullshit. Or he and here's the thing. Everybody hates Jeremy Piven. Like there's all these stories about him being like a Hollywood douchebag and he's hitting on girls and he's all crazy and stuff like that. And whenever I read those stories, in my head I'm always like, what do you expect him to do? He's a rich, famous guy. Why wouldn't he be chasing pussy all over the place? I don't understand it. If you're not married and you're rich and you're famous, you should just be punching vagina from coast to coast, right? Shouldn't you? You should absolutely be riding the pink train as much as you possibly can. I don't get it. I don't understand. And I guess he does it in a sleazy way or whatever. He doesn't even need to be sleazy. If you're Jeremy Piven, you're just like, dude, you literally just walk up and be like, I'm rich and on Entourage, and then pull out your cock. Done. That's it. And then the Ghostbusters come along and they shoot it. They cross the streams and you're finished. Oh, you slimed me. All right, so But anytime I see John Cusack with Jeremy Piven, and because I actually heard a thing where they're like not friends anymore, somebody said or something, and that made me sad because they're so good together when they're in movies because they've known each other since they were kids. So I mean, dude, watch Grosse Point Blank. I just watched Grosse Point Blank a couple of weeks ago. God damn, fucking brilliant movie. Dan Aykroyd's brilliant in it. Cusack is genius in it, but Piven steals everything that he does. Is that guy's blood, dude? He's so good in it because you know why? Again, we've talked about the Meisner technique of the human centipede. We all understand that, right? We got that. But just Piven seems like a guy. Like he that's why, you know, because he played the character on Entourage, the only character worth paying any attention to at all. I watched that show to the bitter fucking end, just wanting to see Piven do anything. That's all I cared about. I didn't give a fuck about Lance. I can't even remember their names. Like, seriously, I remember Turtle. That's the only name I remember. Turtle and Drama, because they were fake names in E. All right, I remember all their names, but it doesn't matter. See, that's the curse of memory, folks. The curse of memory. I remember everything. God damn it. I even remember what Lando Calrissian sounds like, so I can perfectly duplicate it in a stripper's kitchen. Smooth and velvety like a Colt 45 going down. So I love me some Cusack. And when I saw he was going to be like, he was crime-fighting Edgar Allan Poe, I was like, that's genius. Genius. Because the premise is ridiculous. It makes zero sense. That makes less sense than sewing 500 people together mouth to anus. If you walked into a pitch meeting and you went, all right, here's the thing. I have got something for you. 500 guys. No, you know what? We go guy-girl. Because 500 guys, that's just gross. 500 guy-girls. 250 men, 250 women. Hear me out. We sew them together mouth to anus. The executives just lean back in their chairs. They're like, I don't know about that. You got anything else? Get this. Jack the Ripper is killing people in Old England. I'm on board. Go with it. The only person who can solve the crimes is a frail, tuberculosis-ridden poet. But he kicks ass. Is there a name for this poet? Edgar Allan Poe. And we get John Cusack to play him as a superhero, and he fights Jack the Ripper. What was that first thing again? About the 500 anuses? What was that you had? Because that seems a little more believable than ass-kicking, tuberculosis-ridden poet. Which, by the way, was the name of the film. It was the shooting title of the script. I have it on good authority. It was ass-kicking, tuberculosis-ridden poet. And then they said, we need to jazz it up. Call it the Raven's Claw, or whatever the fuck they named it. I don't even know. All I know is they said, slap a mustache on Cusack and let's film this motherfucker. Done. And I'm in. I'm fucking fully invested because Cusack's in it. God damn it. 500 Man Human Centipede. If Cusack's the surgeon, I watch that thing over and over. Here's how much I'm into John Cusack. If Cusack's the surgeon in Human Centipede 3 and he sews 500 asses to mouths together in real time, I watch it. Just to see what Cusack brings to the role. Again, they get the benefit of the doubt from me for their previous work. Go watch High Fidelity and tell me that you never want to see John Cusack. Bullshit. You see High Fidelity or you watch Grosse Point Blank and you're like, that's it. I'm watching anything this guy ever does. Ever for the rest of my life. And then you walk smack dab into him with some wife in the Iraq War and a kid who's sad. And you're just like, I said I would watch this, right? I have to do this, correct? And then you stumble into a theater and he's got a fucking feather quill pen that he's stabbing a guy in the throat with. And then you stand up in the middle of that movie and you go, nevermore. But then you realize the promise you made when you watched High Fidelity. And you sit down and you watch fucking Cusack twirl his mustache and defeat evil with a sonnet. Dude, I am fucking you up with a couplet. You want none of me? Come at me, bro. Check out this rhyme scheme. Ha ha! The beating of his telltale heart that I ripped out of his chest with a rhyme. The deadliest rhymer since Notorious B.I.G., friends. All right. That's, ass-kicking poet, that's just rapper. Literally, they turned Edgar Allan Poe into a rapper. Ass-kicking poet is a rapper. That's what it is. All right. He should have like a rap sidekick like Lil' Kim or somebody. Not Lil' Kim. She's played. Lil' Kim has played. Lil' Kim was never good. Like never. She was like a sidekick rapper chick who hung around and she boned everybody. That was it. She was the queen bee because she was willing to fucking give it up to everyone, which was fine. And she had no flow. She's okay, I suppose. I don't know. She's no fucking Moni Love. I'm serious. Why, in my day, girls could rap. Those rappers. She's no MC Light. She's no Queen Latifah. Oh, ladies first. Ladies first. All right, so. By the way, check your mailboxes. One of you may have Queen Latifah. Please, let's hope. No, that's incorrect. Who did I just pull today? Somebody got Usher. I know somebody got Usher. Eddie got Macy Gray today. That, you know what?
Hand delivered.
Yeah, I brought Eddie his Macy Gray. But here's the thing that made me laugh too is in my like goofy retarded thing that I wrote for Kickstarter, I said you could get that one good Macy Gray album, or you could get my autographed Rick Springfield album. Who knows? Not even kidding. I'm pulling names, and I pulled the autographed Rick Springfield. And I laughed my ass off, and I go, I got to send this. I have to send it. But I forgot. I opened it up. I don't have the actual disc. Pat went and got autographs for me from Rick Springfield and then burned the discs for me. So I have I have CDRs of the album, but I have the autographed case.
That's funny.
And I went, I can't send this. It's cheap. It's cheap. I mean, you'd get the Rick Springfield autograph, but then you'd be like, wait a minute, is he sending CDRs to people? Like I felt stupid that. I mean, people would see the value in the autograph, certainly, but, well, maybe they would not. Maybe only I would. It is Rick Springfield, after all, who's in the recording studio right now, folks, as we speak. He's recording. He's making an album, and he just did a song with Dave Grohl from Foo Fighters, and I saw that. They, like, put a picture up on Facebook of the two of them, and I'm just like, oh, look at my past and my future hanging out together. That's fucking awesome. God damn it. The only thing this picture's missing is me, photoshopped in the middle, holding their cocks. Let's do that. Are you going to do that? She's, I'm going to shop it. Just, crazy face. Hello. Talk about crossing the streams. Kidman is not safe. Neither's my face. All right, so there's a couple anuses I wouldn't mind sewing my mouth to. I'll be honest with you. Springfield and Grohl. All right. Yeah, I said that. All right, so that came out before I even thought about it. My mouth was working independently of myself right there because my mouth was like, yes, there's some anuses, and my brain was like, what are you saying? Stop! Tried to grab it on the way out, didn't happen. There was something. I had a point. Wasn't there a point?
You got burrito leftovers.
Oh, it was awful. And there was no telltale smear of the guac. That's what it was. That's how it all started. That's how this Poe thing started. That's how I got into it. All right, so. So watch your mailboxes. That's the bottom line. I swear to God, there was some other thing I was telling you.
I have no idea.
I'm going to Washington. I'm leaving on a jet plane tomorrow.
Early
record. So I slept. I actually slept, and I was. Haha. I was at work. I was in Graveyardville. And, yeah, I think I told you guys that, I had talked a couple of weeks ago about a guy who comes there and he says things to me. And then I basically kind of, I old manned him is what I did. All right. Because he's a young dude and he's got aspirations and dreams happening. And then I basically told him that none of them would ever come true. And that I was only keeping the seat warm at that desk for him. Once I died, he would just slide comfortably right into the ass groove that I had left in that office chair. And then he would have to deal with another young man who told him all about his dreams in the lobby at 3:00 in the morning. And so I thought I had given this kid a real setback, and may have done so. But I talked about it on the show, and I talked about how he wouldn't stop leaving me. He wouldn't leave me alone. He's talking, and I felt bad, but I didn't really feel bad for whatever the fuck. I talked about it. That was a few weeks ago. So I'm at work last night, and there's a guy who lives in my building. There's another guy who he's a good dude. I see him like 3 times a night because he'll come in and he's a late guy too. So he'll get home late, but then he goes and uses his cell phone outside. I don't know if his roommates don't want him on the phone late. I don't know how it works, but he'll always be outside using the phone, and then he'll come in. So I see him in the lobby 3-4 times a night, always. And he's friendly. He's a nice guy. We wound up talking, and he's a guy. I think I may have talked about him on here. He's a guy who always has a joke for me, and I should just let that phrase hang in the air because you know what that means, right? Whenever anybody has a joke for you, because he found out I was a comedian, so he always has a joke, and he's not the king of telling jokes because that's not his job. You know what I mean? Like he has a real job. Actually, he has a cool ass job, but I won't say what his job is because then he'll know. What you know what I mean? All right, I'll get to that in a second. All right, so. So he'll always have a joke, and and he'll tell it in that weird way where someone will be like, so you know what? A guy walks into a bar with an ostrich, and they sit at the bar, and then the ostrich gets a bowl of chicken wings, and then he eats it. Wait a minute. Hold on, I gotta start that over. That kind of joke telling? Okay. And I plaster on my graveyard grin, and I just sit there and I go, ha, this is hilarious. You're the best. And then he goes upstairs, and then he comes back down with his phone, and then he always says, it's cold out. And I go, yes, it is. And he goes, are you keeping warm? And I say, yes. And then he goes upstairs. And then he comes down a couple hours later, and he's like, oh, it's getting colder out there. And I'm like, because we have nothing to talk about at all. But I'm pleasant, and he's nice, and that's fine. I would actually like to ask him more about his job, because his job's fucking amazing. It's like a really awesome job. But every time I kind of nose around it, I kind of get shot down. Like he doesn't want to talk about it. Like he's just like, oh, geez, I left all that at work today. And whereas it would be endlessly fascinating to a layman. Like it's one of those things where, look, I'm a comic. I'm a comedian, and I do this. So a lot of you are out there. Bullshit. Let's say this. A lot of you out there think you can do it. Let's go ahead and just take a look at the podcast. It's growing exponentially in the fucking iTunes store. And all the people who are like, I'm funny. I have a table. So I can sit around it and be funny, right? Couldn't I do that? No, you can't, motherfucker. Stand down. Put your goddamn microphone away and stop pretending. No play acting at show business. But it's not going to stop anyone. But the thing is, there are some of you also, though, who recognize that this is a talent or that I can do something that you can't. So you want to know more about it. So you want to ask me about it and you like to hear about it. That's how I feel about this dude. His job is so awesome. And it's something that where you in your head, you go, when you're growing up, you're like, I want to be a fireman, or I want to be an astronaut, or I want to be, certain things. This guy is, for me, he's one of the things that I think would be really cool. And so whenever I try to want to talk about it, he's just kind of like, eh. Like he has no interest in it because to him, it's not cool. He does it all the goddamn time. And so it's depressing, quite frankly, because I just want to sit him down. I wouldn't give a fuck. Like when he found out I was a comedian, it was the same thing where he's like, wow. And he wanted to talk about it. When I found out what he did, fuck comedian forever. Like I don't, and it's so funny because again, to you guys, if I told you what he did, but I can't tell you because it's so unique that if, when you heard it, he would know. And I'm getting that. All right, here we go. So he comes in, I see him all the time, 4 times a night. And he says hi and bye, and it's cold. And here's a joke. And he never wants to talk about his goddamn job. And he'll walk in carrying something from his job, and I'll see it, and then I want to go, how was work today? What happened? But he doesn't want to talk about it. So I see him every day. So he comes into the building, and it's the same routine all the time. He'll have a joke for me. He's very pleasant. He says things. He walks in the other day, and he looks at me. And I go, hey, what's going on? I say his name. And he just goes, hey. And he walks over, no joke. And he walks over to the elevator, and he pushes the button. And I go, hey, and I try to, I'm small talk. And I go, yeah, sorry, someone just run up to 3, and I forgot to bring it down. He goes, I don't care. He's obviously upset. So I figured something upset him at his gig or whatever the fuck, or maybe he had a bad phone call. I don't know. And I go, all right, well, and the door opens. I go, have a good night. And he just gets on the elevator. He doesn't say anything to me. He was like really shitty. And I was like, wow, what a drag. Because he's always pleasant. He always has a joke. He always has a hello. He's always very nice. So later that night, he never comes down to go on the phone. He goes out a different exit and then comes back in the front door. So I don't see him. He's not constantly coming and going. He's constantly arriving. He's magic. He rappels down the side of the building to make a phone call. So then later that night, a couple hours later, he walks in with his phone. And I go, hey, what's happening? And he just looks at me, doesn't say anything. And it's so funny. Every night he mentions how cold it is. And in my brain, I just go, yes, it's fucking cold. I'm down here with all the doors open. I have a space heater an inch from my face. I know how cold it is. Stop telling me how cold it is. But because he wouldn't talk to me, the only touchstone I have besides his job is, oh, is it cold out there? That's all I had. That's all I had to say to him. I just go, oh, is it cold outside? And he just goes, yeah. And he won't talk to me. And I'm like, all right, well, this guy's having a real bad night because he's never had a bad night. Gets on the elevator, and I'm like, all right, see ya. Nothing. A couple hours later, again, he walks in the front door. And I go, hey, and I say his name. And he completely ignores me this time. He walks right to the elevator, pushes the button, and gets on it. And finally, look, 3 times of stiff-arming me and treating me like a dick, that's it. We're done. I don't need to, I get the message. I mean, I don't know if you're having a bad night at work or whatever the fuck, but don't take that shit out on me. It has nothing to do with me. I didn't do anything. I'm sitting here in the fucking graveyard office. I'm much more miserable than you are. You want to have a miserable off? Because you're going to fucking lose. I'll be honest. Because you know why? You get to go into that elevator, and go back to your warm apartment. I sit down here and freeze my balls off while I'm watching Hazel. All right? So believe me, you are going to lose a miserable off. So he goes upstairs. He lives on the 3rd floor. And I'm sitting in the office. And 30 seconds later, the elevator goes again. Starts to come down from 3. And whatever, I don't, just who cares? And elevator opens and it's him. And he walks off. And he walks right up to the office, right in. And he walks into the office to where I am. And he goes, if you have a problem with me, you need to tell me. And I said, what are you talking about? And he goes, if you have a problem with me, you need to tell me. I see you enough that if you have a problem, I wish you would just tell me and say it instead of talking behind my back. I go, and I say his name, and I go, I don't know what you're talking about. I go, I'm talking behind your back. I don't talk to anybody in this building. Literally, I'm here all night. Who the fuck am I talking to? And he goes, I heard your show. And I said, what? Because nobody hears my show. Nobody ever, and it was mentioned in passing months ago. Like, it's not like every time I see him, I got a podcast. I mean, I never talk about that. We'll chit chat a little bit about when I go out of town or when I'm flying or I'm doing the one man, but I never mentioned the podcast, but except for the one time I told him about it. And at the time he was really excited and fascinated. He's like, wow, that's great. You got a show. But he's never mentioned it ever. And he goes, I heard your show. And I said, what do you mean? And he goes, I heard you tell everybody that how much you hate talking to me. And every time I come into the office that you can't believe that I'm boring you with whatever I say. And he thought he was the other guy. He actually, because I was talking, I did tell all that, but it was about a different guy completely. Literally, there's 2 guys I see all night long. There's 2 of them. One of them is the guy I talked about a couple weeks ago. The other guy is this guy with the unbelievable job that as a child I would have loved to have had. And that's the guy who decides to go ahead and listen to my fucking show. And then he happens to hear the one episode. I don't even know he's been listening forever and never said a word about it. That's what's even weirder. Because I told him months ago about my show. So has he been listening every week and never mentioned it to me? Or did he just decide once to go, you know what? I'm going to look up that guy downstairs, the security guard's podcast. And then he listened to it and he happened to hear the one where I took the knees out of somebody who lives in the building, and he immediately assumed it was him. Because he's got to think he only sees me at night. Who else am I talking to in the middle of the night? And the thing is, just then he said, if you got a problem, you don't talk behind my back. And I just said, I don't talk to anybody in this fucking building other than you. What are you talking about? So I just confirmed it without even knowing. And he says, I listened to your show. I heard you talking about how I bore you all night long with all of my stuff, and I come in and I won't leave you alone, and you had to set me straight. And he's going on and he's telling me about all the horrible things that I said. But all I could say was he finally, there was like a space for me to talk. And I just went, you listen to the show? Because I love his job. Like, I'm like, oh my God, that means he likes me. He kind of likes me, and I can talk about his job now because he listens to the show, and because it validated me as a performer. I know that sounds ridiculous to you people, but all I know is he sees me sitting at that fucking desk. Everybody who sees me, they see me as this graveyard idiot. That's all I am to those people, and I get that, and that's all I should be. I mean, it's not like I have a fucking, headset and a microphone. It's like, you know what's funny? Because the office has like plastic windows, like that weird enclosed thing. If I close the door, it would be like a little DJ booth. I should just put on like an on-air sign on the outside and wear headphones. And people are like, what the fuck you doing in there? Hold on a second. Gonna go to break in a second. I mean, it's like, it looks like a little DJ booth room. So I mean, I guess I could make it that if I wanted to. But the thing is, people look at me, I'm just a security idiot. That's all I am. And I get that. And that's all I am at that job. They shouldn't look at me any differently. But the fact that he listened made me a performer. It took me out of being just security guy to put us on a level playing field because he has a cool ass job. And now he realized that I was also in show business, although he thinks that I fucking cut his heart out on my show. And so I'm like, you listen to the show? And he's like, yeah, I heard it. You know, if you got a problem with me, you should just tell me, or I'll just leave you alone. I don't have to talk. And so I'm like, no. I won't say his name, but it was like Steve is his name. I'm like, Steve, no. Oh my God. That could not be further from the truth. That's not true at all. And he's like, well, I heard you say it. You talked about it. And I go, yeah, but I didn't say your name or anything. Well, he goes, well, you can't. You can change my name in case I listen to it. But I read through between the lines, and you don't talk to anybody here besides me. You just said it. And I'm like, no, dude, there is somebody else in the building that I talk to, and it's them. It wasn't about you. I promise. And then, like, I was falling all over myself to assuage his hurt feelings. But then part of me wanted to go, hey, fuck you, Three's Company. What the fuck are you doing? This weird eavesdropping bullshit in the kitchen, then you're going to walk in with your mouth agape, and then Chrissy's going to go out and get a tan, and then Larry's going to come downstairs? Fuck that. All right? Give me a second to fucking explain myself. Don't come down off the elevator and just ambush me with your, hey, you got a problem with me. I don't have a fucking problem with you. If you want to talk about this like a human being, like, and by the way, this is all going through my head, all right? Where I'm getting fucking mad. And because I don't like authority. I don't like being accosted. I don't like anybody trying to put me somewhere where I don't want to be. So when he comes on like a stiff prick with the, hey, I heard your show and you're all over me and blah, blah, blah. Well, I immediately get my hackles up because I want to defend the show. And I want to go, well, no, you misunderstood. And you're not even giving me a chance to fucking defend myself. And so I'm letting him read me the riot act, but I'm waiting to launch. Like I'm sitting there and I'm getting madder and madder as he keeps talking. And yeah, folks, I'm a better man than I was when I started the show, because he finished, and I swallowed hard the entire fucking time, and I just went, I go, hey, and I spoke even like a low. It was like when I used to break up shit when I bounced. You know, there was a time to be angry and there was a time to be nice. Thank you, Dalton. Be nice, folks. Nobody wins a fight. All right, so that was the philosophy I brought into that. Last night, or 2 nights ago? Last night? I don't remember. I'm groggy. I haven't slept. And so I said, hey, that you could not be more wrong. And I like you. I like talking to you. I enjoy when you come in because I don't get to see anybody. There's one other person here, and it was just I don't even dislike them. It was just born out of frustration with an exchange that I had with them. I go, It's a show. I do a show. A lot of it is amped up for comedy too. I go, you got to understand that. So, I just want you to know it wasn't you, first of all, but second of all, I'm not even mad at this other person. Really, it was for comedy sake. I said to get out of this, and it calmed him down, thankfully, and he's like, so, okay, so it's not me, and I go, no, it's not you, dude. I go, what? I go, you don't. I go, honestly, you come in and you won't even talk to me. You ask me about the weather and you tell me a joke. I go, you heard the other stuff I said. I go, we've never had any sort of intense discussions like I had with this other person. You understand? I go, I would have had to make up the entire thing about you. I mean, it's like, he goes, well, I didn't know. I thought you were like kind of, like you said, it's a comedy show. So I thought you were just kind of exaggerating about me so you could talk about me. And I'm like, why would I make up an entire like backstory for you? That's ridiculous. And he laughed and I laughed. Oh, ho, ho. And he's like, oh, okay, well, all right. I just wanted to make sure, man. And I go, all right, that's cool. I'm glad you made sure. But yeah, it wasn't you. And he's like, oh, okay. Who is it? I'm like, what? He goes, who is it? Who is the guy? And I go, look, you don't want to. What's the point? I go, there's no point in telling you that. You heard the show. I go, so you figure it out. You'll see him walking around sometime, I'm sure. And then he was left unsatisfied because telling him who it was would have completely explained to him that it wasn't him. Like that was the final stitch of proof he needed to get over the hump. But I wasn't giving it up. I mean, I go, I'm sorry. I was on my back with my ankles in the air already. You can use one of the holes, but not both. And that's not, if I was a whore, I meant if I was like a lady whore giving it up, not me. You know what I'm talking about? All right. Now I don't really, although he had chewed me one, so maybe there were two. But that was my point. It's like I gave up enough by throttling down and being a nice person and basically appealing to your better sense of humanity and instead of yelling and going, fuck you, get out of here. You know what I mean? So I wasn't about to give him the information of who the person was. And so he was like, oh, I could see still a little glimmer of doubt, but he was fine with it. He was like, okay, great. Well, that's fine. And he went back up to his room. So I'm going to get fired. That's the bottom line. And now you know why I can't tell you what this guy does for a living, because you would know immediately who he was. And there's also another distinguishing characteristic about this guy that if I said it, he would know it was him. But that's another thing is I've never, well, and now if he listens to this, which he probably will, he's going to know that I talked about the exchange. Because he's got to know that though, right? He has to know that I'm going to talk about him now after what happened, right? I mean, because I'm not saying anything out of line. I'm not saying out of the school because I think I've talked enough about how cool he is, right? Have I covered that base? He's cool. Oh, I can't wait to have this discussion. I can't, because all right, I'm not a man. We get that, right, folks? I'm not a man. I can't do things. Today, just this morning, today, this happened before I left work. I was a little late, so I had to stay there till like 6:15. And this woman comes downstairs at like 6:13. And I'm bagging up my computer and everything. And she goes out to go to work or whatever. And she comes back in and she goes, oh my gosh. She's German. She's like, oh my gosh. My tire is flat. And I go, oh man, that's awful. And she's like, can you change my tire? And the answer to that, of course, is no. On several levels. No, because I don't wanna. And no, because I'm not a man and I don't know how to do it. So she looks at me, she's like, could you change my tire or do I have to call AAA? And I just went, I'm leaving. She said, what? I said, I'm leaving, I'm off. And it was liberating and emasculating at the exact same time. Like it was essentially, it was just like, I'm a pussy. But I'm so happy that I'm a pussy right now. Because the last thing I'm going to do is lay on the ground and change a fucking tire. And I don't even know if you lay on the ground when you change a tire. I got no clue. I changed a tire once in my life. And it was because the guy, I had a shit car. I had my shitbox Caprice Classic. And it had a flat tire. It had stuff wrong with the engine. And it was that thing where I couldn't bring it to a shop because I had no money. So I had to rely on the kindness of strangers. Like I was banging this chick at the time and she had a friend who knew about cars. And whenever he could come by, he was going to take a look at it. So in the meantime, I was stuck on the goddamn bus. I've told this story. But then when he finally came over to take a look at it, the tire was flat. He's like, well, the first thing we got to do is fix that flat tire. And I'm like, yes, you do. So fantastic. And he's like, well, no, he goes, I can do the engine stuff because you can fix a tire. He goes, changing a flat tire is just about brute strength. And, he goes, an idiot can change a tire. And I just was like, I'm an idiot. I can't change a tire. And he's like, no, trust me, I'll show you how. So I had to change the tire with the guy. And let me tell you, changing a tire is bad enough. But changing it with car guy, Mr. Goodwrench bullshit, who's there and thinks he's teaching you a life lesson that is the fucking worst thing of all time. Because then, you know why? Because he does none of the work. He's like an auto shop teacher at that point, and you're laying on the ground and you're fucking trying to get lug nuts and fucking spinning those, and they're too hard, and the car's rotating, and I got a jack and it jacked up, and I'm filthy. Like I got dirt on my hands. Oh my god, there was dirt on my hands. I don't know how you people do it. changing tires upstairs, bro, and I shot my mouth off and you showed me what that hole was for? That's the pretenders. But yeah, so I mean, that was the only other time I changed a tire. It was fucking this guy forcing me to do it. It was like I was being raped, verbally raped, and having to do manual labor at the same time. It's like, if, you know what, rape victims, I feel bad for you because you've been raped. But imagine if as you were being raped, you had to wash the dishes. Oh my God. And not only that, you had to wash the dishes while the guy told you how to wash dishes. That's like a triple rape. That's like a rape that's chocolate covered with cream filling. Fuck all that. Give me a plain rape. I don't need your fancy doodads and accoutrement. I don't need a side dish with my rape. I go right for the main event. Shut your mouth. You want to rape me? That's fine, but close your mouth and shut up. Terrible. It's just like it's like if someone raped you and then criticized your technique the entire time they were doing it. All right. So yeah, that was I had to change the tire. So I had to I'm getting filthy and dirt on me and awful. So that and it's so vivid. It's the only time I've ever done it. And like I said, it is so vivid in my head that the second she said, "Can you help me change my tire?" that guy showed up in my head to tell me how to do it and what to do. And I remember being dirty and I was like, no. So I was just like, I'm leaving. And I felt awful leaving her there, but at the same time, I felt fucking great. Because then she goes outside and I could hear her and she's sad and mad at the same time because she couldn't believe that I said no. That was the thing. It's like, and I'll tell you, if it would have been a dude, I would have felt 50% better telling him no. Because like, fuck you, man. You've got a cock. Go ahead and change your tire. But instead, all of that pressure was on me because this woman came in and she's like, "Please to help with changing tire." Like it was like if Anne Frank came in and she's like, "Please to hide me from Nazis, please." And I said, "I don't have an attic." Slam. Just closed the door in her face and watched her get taken away. So it was, that's how I felt. It was because I just turned her down like flat, like it wasn't even like, "Oh, I really wish I could." I just went, "I'm leaving." Like it was just this awful. And again, because again, I don't do it. I'm the DJ. I'm just the DJ there in the lobby. Did you see the on-air sign? You can't just burst in here and ask me to fucking change a tire. So I went, "I'm leaving," and then felt like a pussy. I did completely feel like a pussy because then she was so stunned, her face, like her jaw opened, like, "So I have to call AAA?" And I'm like, I'm leaving. Like I said it again, and I put and you pay for AAA. What the fuck? If you have AAA, they have guys with shirts with their names on them who do this for a living. For fuck's sake. I'm an idiot sitting in all you've seen me do is clack away on an Apple Macintosh. That's all you've seen. I have a MacBook and you come in and you see me. That's what you see. And that's a lie, by the way. Nobody in that building has ever seen me type. Ever. I don't think I've ever typed in that building. I'm supposed to be getting work done, but usually it's just me sitting there and looking at my phone. You'll see me looking at my phone and reading Twitter, or I'll be reading stuff that I've saved off the internet on my computer. I'm reading. People see me read. And, very rarely does reading come into play when you're changing a tire. It does not. It just does not. There's no instructions on the tire that you have to read, although I would read the fuck out of them. I'll tell you, if there was, I would read them 10 or 15 fucking times. And people will be like, "What are you doing?" I go, I'm making sure that I know exactly what I'm doing here before I plunge into this and get one speck of fucking dirt on me. God damn it, call AAA. I couldn't believe that she was so surprised. Like, no, call them. You pay for them. Go ahead. They have dudes who do this for a living and like it. They like it. They actually enjoy it. That might be a stretch. Because I do something for a living that I do not enjoy. But yeah, but please, those guys have fancy uniforms. Call them. And so I'm bagging up my stuff and getting ready to go. And I hear her outside frantically dialing the phone. She can't get a signal in the garage. And I'm in my head, I'm going, "Just get out of here before she comes back. Just get out of here before she comes back and asks a second time." And I bagged all my stuff up and I grabbed it and I stand up and she walks in to the lobby. And she looks at me and she goes, "Are you sure you cannot help me? I can't get AAA on the phone." And I'm like, in my head, I'm just like, AAA's open 24 hours. Call them. Just fucking call them. Leave me alone. And so I just went, I really can't. I have a doctor's appointment this morning. 6:15 a.m. I'm walking out the door. Where? When? Who? What doctor? That's all I had. And the thing is, I didn't even need to make up the lie. I already said I'm leaving twice, but then I said I have a doctor's appointment this morning, and I wanted to say I have wheel elbow. You know what I mean? I should have come up with some ridiculous. "Oh, I've been changing tires all night and I can't. Oh, Jesus Christ! Look at it. It's crooked. It's at a crazy angle." But I said I have a doctor's appointment this morning, and she came in and sat down and started making phone calls, and I grabbed it was so awful. It was like, honestly, it was like I had just woke up in bed with her and had to go, all right, well, I guess I'll call you sometime. And I grabbed my stuff and I locked the door and I walked out into the garage and I have to close the door behind me, and I heard her as she's just like, and as the door was closing, I heard her, she goes, son of a bitch. Because I think she thought I was going to change my mind or that I was kidding at some point. Like I was gathering up all my stuff and then I was going to go, let's tackle this tire. All right, no, fuck, no. What do I look like, a poet? You want a man of action. You want a guy who puts pen to paper and rhymes in time, baby. You don't want fat me behind a goddamn desk insulting strangers. You want to get, maybe that's Cusack's next movie. Maybe Cusack plays like Walt Whitman, auto mechanic. And he springs into fucking action. You pay to see that movie, don't you, folks? I just want to be there for the pitch meeting. All right, hear me out. We take 500 people. We sew them together mouth to anus. In real time, we film it and we show it. It's fantastic. I'm not sure about that. What else you got? Walt Whitman, auto mechanic. We slap a beard on John Cusack, hand him a fucking lug wrench, and just tell him to go off. Fixing Camrys all over this land while singing Leaves of Grass the entire time. Why would he sing it? It's a poem. Who cares? It's a musical with Cusack and a beard and a lug wrench. God damn it, we're doing this. What was that first one again? You guys can get me at MikeandMikeSchmidtComedy.com. You guys can be my friend at Facebook.com/the40year-old-boy. You can follow me on Twitter at Twitter.com/the40year-old-boy. You can follow our friend Lily Von Stupp at Twitter.com/MNTs or Twitter.com/MN. Twitter.com/Lily Von Stupp. You can be your friend at Facebook.com/Lily Von Stupp. And if you'd like to write her a personal note and find out just exactly how many times she grabbed her breasts during this discussion and how many of her lumps she let me feel while I walked in the door, you can write her at Lily@burlesque411.com. That's Lily, Lili, at burlesque411.com.
Hey, all you fans of the 40-year-old boy. Mike's got new stuff to sell you. Stuff he hopes you'll enjoy. Just what's for sale, of course we do not know. All we can tell you
is where you should go.
Zazzle.com, 40-year-old boy. Zazzle.com, 40-year-old boy. Zazzle.com, 40-year-old boy. Zazzle.com.
Is your business you?
What kind of stuff's for sale? We already told you we don't know. 'Cause Mike made us record this song way back in February, so we can only speculate just what Mike will try to sell you. Maybe his face on a tambourine or his own line of gardening equipment. Zazzle.com, 40-year-old boy. Zazzle.com, 40-year-old boy. Zazzle.com, 40-year-old boy. Zazzle.com.
Maybe his own line of high chairs.
Zazzle.com.
His face on your personal massager.
Want to remind you folks about the Monday Night Teas every Monday night at the 3 clubs on Santa Monica and Vine. It's a fantastic show, the longest running burlesque show in Los Angeles, certainly the most successful and absolutely the best. It can't be topped by anybody. It's the best of the rest because they don't mess. They're tough, they're strong, they do no wrong. Go, go, go Monday Night Teas. That's right from my high school cheers that we did. I happen to know the producer of that show. Her name is, her name is Lily Von Stupp. She's right here. Lily! Hi, how was this week's Monday Night Teas, which was, 4 hours ago?
It was Irish-ish.
Was it really? Irish-ish. Well, good. It was after St. Patrick's Day celebration. I heard, now this is, I just heard it on the internet. So I'm not sure if it's true, but you can confirm it. I heard that one of the performers did the ping pong ball trick with Thin Mints last night, shot them out and to the crowd, and they were caught in mouths. Yes? People can't hear you shake your head, Lily.
No.
Okay, just checking. I don't know. That's what I heard.
But I did have a girl who is so stupid. She was a competitive river dancer, for lack of better terms. That's what she did.
Sure, yeah, it's
And then there
very
was another
competitive.
Girl who grew up Irish dancing the jig. So
Yeah.
we actually had 2 Irish dance.
Very cool.
instructors.
That's nice.
And it's really funny to see a girl take her clothes off and not lift her arms and
Oh, and keep it
completely
at her
down.
sides.
And at the end, she's just river dancing away as her tassels are twirling. It was quite beautiful, actually.
Nice.
It was very nice.
Sounds breathtaking.
Yes.
And so next week is a show. Is it a theme show?
There's no theme next week. It is just packed full of fantastic dancers, and we have Sean McMaster hosting again, who's a magician.
I like Sean.
I like Sean.
Sean is a good guy. Sean, I've worked with Sean in Ventura at what used to be Hornblowers Comedy Club. Sean would be there.
Really? Boom, boom, boom.
So tell Sean I said hello. I've not
I
seen him
will.
in forever. Will Jezebel Thunders be on that show?
No.
Will the Nikita Bitch Project be on that show?
No.
Uh,
You have 2 new favorites.
yeah, maybe. Will Panama Red be on that show?
No.
Okay, we've mentioned her several times. Will Alley Oops be on that show?
No.
Now, every name that pops into my head, I will say. Well, okay, but it's a fantastic show. Are you performing?
Yes, I am.
Terrific. Do you know what number you're doing just
Yes,
yet?
I'm doing my poodle number because I have to get it from not being rusty because I'm performing it at Teaserama.
Nice.
In San Francisco. Yes, San Francisco peeps. I am performing at Teaserama on Friday night. Buy tickets and come see my titties in a beautiful theater.
What's the date?
It is April 20th, I believe it is, and 21st, but it's Friday night I'm performing.
The 20th is a Friday.
Yeah.
Okay, so April 20th and 21st, Teaserama is in San Francisco at, do we know the theater and where tickets are available?
Bimbo's 360, gorgeous club, amazing weekend. Buy tickets and come see it.
Yeah, it'll be great. And then meet and greet with our friend Lily. See her wherever you can. Get an autograph. Say hello to her. And also see her perform. She's doing the poodle number there, which is her most famous number, I would say. The one that you really like and the one that gets a lot of response. They all get response, but I mean, that's the one that was the first one I ever saw you do, actually. And people love it when you do it. So go check her out at Teaserama, April 20th and 21st. That's a Friday and Saturday at Bimbo's 360 in San Francisco. Plenty of other great dancers there as well, but go there for the Lily and then stay for the rest. That's what I'll call them, the rest, as they all get consumed in the wake of our friend Lily Von Stupp and her complex series of weights and pulleys to hold her breasts. That's why she has lumps on her. She's like, feel my collarbone, and look at my back of my neck. And I'm like, yes. And because she had a bra on yesterday that was a serious bra, and it's working overtime. This bra is working overtime, as XTC would tell you.
Did anybody get an ecstasy CD?
No, they did not. And I only own one CD. I have a lot of their stuff digitally, but I only have one CD. Unfortunately, Karen brought up the relationship, so I couldn't give it away even if I wanted to. Even if I had pulled it out, she would have gone, oh, no, that's my XTC. And I would have said, when was the last time you opened this? Before you met me, perhaps? Literally 20 years ago was the last time you cracked open this case? But that's fine. Whatever. So watch your mailboxes, folks. But please remember the Monday Night Teas every Monday night at the 3 clubs on Santa Monica and Vine, 10 o'clock p.m. And this week there's no theme, but it's still a great show. And then Teaserama, which we will talk about in the coming weeks. As if I was a news reporter. I'm bringing you the news of Teaserama. This just in. We just had breaking news, so not good. So remember, you can go to facebook.com/the40year-old-boy and not only be my friend, but you can be Lily Von Stupp's friend there at her page, or you can be David Hernandez's friend. You'll have to find him via my friends, though, because he has a ridiculous string of code as his name there. But go be David Hernandez's friend. He's the guy who does all the explosions of ids and all the artwork for the show, and also mixes all the music and records all of the spots for the Mike Schmidt Podcast Network. He interacts with all of the people that are, because I don't look. I want nothing to do with them. I sign them to their contracts, and then they can do their shows, and then Max has to deal with them. That's fine. That's on him. Remember also, while you're there, to go ahead and join one of the pages. The Facebook page is the Bring Me to Your Town. There's all sorts of pages to bring me to town. Bring Mike Schmidt to Indianapolis exists, Toronto, Detroit. There's a Fresno page. There's a Buffalo page. All of these pages to get me to come to the people's towns and visit and go ahead and see me and I'm in. There's pages also that are like active now with shows with tickets for sale. Have I mentioned that? Because I have a new show. All right, here's the thing. I have a new show to announce, and I can't decide whether to tell you about the ones that exist and then say also at the end, there's this show now, or do I just say the new show first and then say, well, here's the... No, fuck it. I'm doing it my way. Sinatra. That's right. I'm the Sinatra of podcasts. And if you don't think so, look outside your window right now. Jilly Rizzo is coming to kick the shit out of you. All right, so... remember that I am going to be in Washington, D.C. this week. You're hearing this show probably on Thursday, which means there is 1 day left for you to buy online tickets. There was a surge. Again, there's single digits left. I can't lie to you. There's a few tickets left right now, and by the time you hear this, they could be gone. So it'll be up on brownpapertickets.com for you to go and search for Mike Schmidt in Washington, D.C. at the D.C. Art Center, Friday, March 23rd. The show's at 7:30. So there's a very few tickets left. If you want them, go ahead and grab them. Although, as I say this, they may be gone. Just letting you know. So I don't know if there'll be walk-up sales. Look at my Facebook page. I'll announce it Friday morning if there are or there are not. And that's that. Please remember that I will also be April 27th in Cleveland, Ohio at Big Dog Theater. That'll be fantastic. Come out to the show at Big Dog Theater. Shows at 8 o'clock. And we need some tickets were sold this week for that, which is good, but we still need to sell a lot more to fill that room. And we will never fill it. All right, let's get that out of the way. We'll never fill the room in Cleveland. But hopefully I'll get a good amount of you people there and maybe some other people who are strangers and don't know what I do. Which means I need more of you there than them. Because A, you have to protect me when they inevitably storm the stage and try to fight me. Because again, I'm not a poet. The other show that I will tell you about is June 1st in Boston, Massachusetts. That's right, at the Cambridge YMCA Theater. Still haven't heard back from them. I'm selling tickets, and tickets are moving briskly, but they have not confirmed and told me what I need to pay. I haven't paid for the theater yet. I will. I want to do it immediately. I've contacted them a couple times and not heard back. So as soon as I get that squared away, but regardless, tickets are on sale now. So go ahead and buy tickets for the Cambridge YMCA Theater, because if worse comes to worst and they wind up canceling me, I show up and we all hang out at a pub somewhere and I do the show there. And I just individually, I'll walk up to you and I'll whisper a joke and then walk away. So that'll be fun, won't it? Won't that be great? You're actually rooting now for the theater to get canceled. So that's June 1st. And then you're thinking to yourself, well, that's 3 shows. That's a whirlwind tour for Mike. That's all the Kickstarter cities. There's no use in scheduling any other cities. But I already told you there are other cities mentioned, like Detroit and Indianapolis and Toronto and London and all these other cities that want me to come and visit them. Well, I've gone ahead and booked another show, folks. I mentioned June 1st in Boston at the YMCA, the Cambridge YMCA Theater. Well, 2 weeks later, June 15th, at the Westport Coffee House in Kansas City, Missouri. Ladies and gentlemen, that's right. Kansas City has been booked finally. They were one of the first pages. Kansas City and Indianapolis were 2 of the first pages. Indianapolis I'm still working on. But Kansas City, I just happened to luck into a venue, which is great. And get this, let me go ahead and throw this in your lap, folks. It's called the Westport Coffee House. So I guess upstairs is a coffee house. And downstairs, these people, I guess they own a recording studio and stuff, and they've put in kind of a state-of-the-art little theater, which only seats, I think, 60 people or 50 people. I'm not sure. It's a small black box space. But they, I think, have a 3-camera setup.
What?
So I think I'm going to tape a DVD in Kansas City. I don't know if it's going to be one I'm going to sell. I don't know if it's a DVD I'm going to release. I have no idea what I'm going to do with it at this point. All I know is they said it's a little extra and they would do it. And I don't even know if it's 3 camera. It might be 1 camera. I don't have any fucking clue. All I know is I booked the room. There's a show, like I said, June 15th. It's a Friday at the Westport Coffee House in Kansas City, Missouri. The woman was very nice and fun and really quick and easy and painless. And she told me it's in a great area of Kansas City, like a real entertainment district. And, yeah, we'll see. Who knows? But then she says, but they do this thing where they tape, and so I'm gonna tape. So man, come out, buy tickets. Let's fill that joint and give me something that I can be proud of. So that'll be fun. Kansas City. I'm excited to film there. Nobody films there, right? Come on, you people. Do you have TV? I don't know if you have TV in that fucking town, but I know there's at least 1 camera and it's working. So Kansas City, buy tickets. Tickets are available also at brownpapertickets.com right now. You can go ahead and buy those tickets. Let's fill that room. And then you can all come and stare. I don't know if you can tape as long as I'll talk. It'll be a race against time. Will there be a DVD out of it, or will it be like you know what? It'll be Mike Schmidt Double Life Gonzo. That's right. And then in fucking 19 years, I'll pull it out of a fucking shoebox and mail it to David Cook. All right, so that's fine. Kansas City's on sale. Boston and Cleveland and
DC this week. So come on and check that show out. You can go to MikeSchmidtComedy.com, and remember that on the Joe Business page, you will find a link to tweakedaudio.com/40 to buy autoerotic asphyxiation earbuds and cock ring watches. You can also find a link to Zazzle.com/40-year-old-boy, and in there you will go ahead and find mugs and mouse pads. And there may be changes coming to the Zazzle store soon. We're not sure. We're still deciding. There's a really long list for Mex to look at of things that he has to do, including the screensaver, which I mentioned from earlier, which you'll be getting soon as I sign off on it. And also, please go there and buy the the download sets. The year 1, year 2, and year 3 download sets are available, or you can get them all together as the Lord of the Schmidt set and pick those up. And also at the top of the page in the left-hand corner, every page on MikeSchmidtComedy.com, there's a little Schmitty with his pocket out. You can donate to the show. You can make a one-time donation, or you can monthly subscribe for $2 a month, $5 a month, or $10 a month. And I will be honest with you, I was so out of it this morning, I did not grab a list of people to read. So I will get to that. But I do have people that I want to mention, folks, because I went and visited my P.O. box, and I hadn't been at my P.O. box in, I don't know, a month or so. Or a couple months. Well, because I don't get a lot of stuff there. You know, I only go check when people expressly write me and say, hey, can I have the address? Because then I know to expect something. So I haven't been in like 6 weeks probably. So I went, and this time, and oh my God, there was like 8 things there, which was great. I was very excited. So I will tell you about them now. First, folks, I want to thank our friend. Hold on, because I have a bunch of stuff here. Hold on, let me open it up. By the way, look at this weird typing. Who wastes a page on that? It's just this guy, our friend Dave Fogerson, who is a fan of the show, and I enjoy him. And once he heard that I was in the Father's Day film, and I was talking about how much I like trauma movies and kind of schlocky movies. He's like, dude, I have a movie called Mold that you have to see. and he wrote it. He has a screenplay credit for Mold. And I was like, I'm in. Go ahead and send it to me. So he sent it. And it's funny. He sent me a page that's a full length. Imagine if you had copier paper, folks. And then imagine if you typed me a note and the font was 8, like 8-point font. It's this tiny sentence. And it just, here's a copy of Mold, my first and hopefully not last screenplay credit from one fan of schlock to another. Enjoy, Dave Fogerson. And I only know that says that because I have a magnifying glass as I'm trying to read it. And then even better was he put it in a giant envelope, like a big bubble wrap envelope with a big thing that said, do not fold. So I thought it was going to be like a painting or something. And when I opened it up, it's a CD in this note. So Dave, I hope your screenplay was not nearly as padded as your packaging, because that means Mold will be a tedious exercise, although I'm sure it is not. I am excited to watch it. Dave Fogerson, thank you for sending me your DVD of Mold, which I'll be happy to check out. Let's thank our friend, Erica Rosine. I used to think it was Erica Rosen, by the way, and then all right, I'll get to this in a later episode. But for all the Kickstarter people, I asked them to send me a phonetic pronunciation of their name so I didn't fuck it up. Well, I've been calling Erica Rosen forever because I've said her name on here a few times for donating, and also I took her out to dinner when I was in Austin, Texas. She and David, our friend David Cook from Jagerbomcast, we all went out together to dinner. But she sent me an envelope, and I opened it up and it had a card on there with a caterpillar. That's a centipede. Is it? You think so? No way. We've come full circle, ladies and gentlemen.
That's a centipede.
That is a 500-section centipede on the cover of that card. I wish I was closing the show with that, but I'm not. Mike went antique shopping this past weekend, saw this, thought of you. Enjoy. And inside that envelope, folks, was a refrigerator magnet of 9 to 5 era Dolly Parton. Huge hair, mole, fucking amazing Dolly Parton face, and like handmade. It wasn't some product. It looks like somebody, you know how you make your little buttons? It like somebody made a refrigerator magnet out of Dolly Parton's head and there you go. And my favorite part of it is antique shopping. I think that's my favorite part of the entire thing, that Erica Rosine is out looking for antique bassinets and then stumbles into the antique Dolly Parton section and finds a magnet. A magnet. A magnet. A magnet. Please don't stick this anywhere but the fridge. So I was happy to get that. Thank you so much, Erica Rosine. And I hope you weren't fooling with your name with the weird Rosine. It's not weird. It's your name. Shut up. All right. So here's there's a ransom note I received. Literally, this guy used like ransom font. This is our friend, David Watson. David Watson is a man who's donated to the show in the past, came to the Atlanta show, and also David Watson, who, by the way, I'm sorry, David Earl Watson, as he's included his serial killer name. David Earl Watson is the man who paid for my Atlanta hotel, who came through with the Hilton points and scored me the Atlanta hotel. And remember the day that David Watson shit his pants in the lobby? Remember that? All right. Well, David Watson sent me like a stack. I mean, that's the only word I can use. A stack of gift cards for restaurants. Because he had written me in the past before, and he's like, hey, Mike, would you be interested in, I have these restaurant company gift cards, and I use them all the time, but there's some that I don't have. I can give them to you. And so I wrote him back. I go, look, if you're serious, dude, that's fine. I go, and he offered me, it was like Chili's and a few other places. I go, look, I will never eat at Chili's, but the other places would probably work. I can make those work. And sure enough, he sent me like $300 worth of credit at the Cheesecake Factory, and he sent me a bunch for Outback Steakhouse. But so I'm going to take Lily and Eddie. Karen and I'll take Lily and Eddie out to dinner. But it said on the Outback Steakhouse on the back, there's like a family of restaurants, and one of them is Roy's Hawaii, like the fusion restaurant. Dude, if I can use those gift cards there, I'm going to go crazy because I loved Roy's. So, but if I'm going to Outback, I love that too. Who cares? It's free. I don't care. I'm excited. Thank you so much. That's our friend David Watson. Thank you so much out there in Atlanta with his ransom note, and he went ahead and included that, and I appreciate it very much.
That's hysterical.
It is. It was great. I want to thank these people. What are you pointing at? You pointing at the ransom? It is an actual ransom note. Yeah, it's crazy. Hey, Judson and Nicole Gilbert in Montana, or no, Wyoming. I mix those two up. It's Wyoming or Montana. It's some desolate place. They live in a desolate place. They came to Denver to see me, actually, and then they were here. They're going to be in L.A., and then they wrote me in to see if I wanted to go see Roger Waters with them. And I was like, I guess so, but I can't make any decisions now because the tickets are pretty pricey, and I wasn't sure if I could go because I might be on the road depending on the dates. And they were very nice, and they decided I think they're going to go on their own if they're going to go at all. But they invited me to their wedding a while ago, and I think I talked about that on here to Judson and Nicole's wedding. But now, save the date, I've been invited to a birthday and graduation party at their home in Cheyenne. So thank you so much. I'm going to respectfully decline here on the air because I don't think I'm going to be able to make it to Cheyenne for that. But who knows? You never know. I could just show up. Keep in mind, I decline here, but I'm that kind of guy who RSVP's wrong, and then I just show up. So set a table for me anyway. You're waiting for Elijah, and you're waiting for me. I'm if Elijah shows up, he's bringing me. So thank you so much for inviting me. And then our friend Bob Perry. Let's talk about Bob Perry for a second. You have a drawing from Bob Perry somewhere here. Bob Perry has sent me. Yeah, it's over there. It's over here. Bob Perry sent me a couple more drawings.
Oh my God.
Because Bob Perry, I told you he sent cash in the mail. Like he sent me a $5 bill. And he sent something more cash. Well, I have this. This is a drawing of, I think it's me as Satan. I'm pretty sure. And all it says over and over is, get out of the car. Get out of the car. Please, get out of the car. 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 Please. Get out of the car. And then it says, Lily and Mike, best wishes, Bob. And that had some cash in it as well. But also at the same time, there was another note from Bob Perry in my my P.O. box.
This is great.
It is a good drawing. And he drew this right here. He drew a coffee cup. But there's a reason he drew the coffee cup. Listen to this note, folks, that we have. Mike, I was going to pay online until I told my wife. She wanted to listen first. That was not the right thing to do. So now I have to sneak my coffee money to you in an envelope every month. It's worth every cup. Love you and Lily. Bob Perry.
That's priceless.
So I was wondering, because remember I talked about it. I goes, why is this guy sending me cash? I thought it was ridiculous. I go, well, that's nice. I go, he could just donate through the website. Yeah, he can't. His wife won't let him. His wife has stepped up. First of all, he's like, I love the fact that he's like, hey, I'm going to send some money to a podcaster. Is that okay with you? No. I need to listen to that podcast. What kind of a track record do you have, Bob, of supporting horrible things in the past that your wife now has to approve of everything you send money to? What have you donated to in your sordid past, Bob Perry? Brutal. So sure enough, I'm sure she listened. I can't even imagine which one she listened to, and she just went, "No, absolutely not." You know what he's married to? He's married to the woman from Pink Floyd, The Wall, who made the guy eat the gristle. Bob's a gristle-eating motherfucker who's just drawn me as Satan. That's why every time he has to chew on a nub of bone, he has to draw me in another mean picture and then send me more cash to make up for it. God damn it, Bob. Get out of that relationship. I understand if she doesn't like me, but then she won't let you like me? You can like me. It's okay to like me. She doesn't have to like me, right? But I guess if it's dual finances, I suppose that you got to go ahead and get her permission to do stuff like that. But that just doesn't make a lot of sense, really. And also, I'll be honest with you, I'm just disappointed to hear that Bob is married to Eric's wife. Bob, why are you married to Eric Butterfield's wife? That doesn't make any sense. I didn't think there was another woman on the planet who could hate me as much as she does, and yet now your wife has stepped up and won't even let you send a pittance, won't even let you contribute anything at all to me online. Disappointing, quite frankly, Bob. I mean, if it brings me your artwork and cash in the mail, I'm thrilled about it, but absolutely, you need to get out of that relationship. You need to do whatever you can to sneak out, belly crawl out, and you know what? Leave with nothing but the light at the end of the tunnel. I think I've mentioned you before. You've got to stay frosty. Grab your scratch paper, grab your pencil, and grab your drawing ability and all of the petty cash you can muster and belly crawl your way out of that goddamn house. Because if she's going to tell you what you can and can't do, you can't put up with that kind of thing. For fuck's sake, you're Bob Perry. You're Bob Perry. Have a little Bob Perry in your Bob Perry stuff, Bob Perry. I am just stupid enough to think that when people listen to me and they listen to the show, they should take my honesty and go, oh, wow, how refreshing his unvarnished honesty is. And the fact that he's willing to have a scorched earth policy and have no friends or no fucking future is so refreshing and great. But then they'll say to me, hey, do you need somebody raped with a steak? I go, yes, I do. Done. They'll take care of it for me. Thanks, Snake Rape. Oh, no one listens to show, bro? Wonder why? Wonder why no one listens to show, bro? I don't want to listen to show, bro. Please. Snake rape. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it.